Well, there were a couple of times when couldn't help but say, "Whoa, you go, girl." Stay tuned and see why. Hi, Grandma Bev here, and welcome back to my channel. Well, Sunday nights, Sunday nights episode of 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way had me just cheering. Why? Well, let me get my notes here and tell you. Whoop, whoop, whoop. First off, let's start by saying these are my opinions, my interpretations, so don't anybody go getting mad, okay? We'll start off, though, with Gabe. They showed Gabe. He's all happy and excited because it's his wedding day, and it's like 3 hours before the wedding, and he's so excited, and he's cutting nose hairs in his nose, and his mama's there with him, and all of a sudden he gets a text message from Monica, his sister. What a bitch. She told him she's not coming to the wedding, and his face just went, ugh. So his mother said, well, why? What happened? Well, apparently he and Monica and Monica's boyfriend had gotten together the night before. And Isabel was busy doing, last minute things for the wedding, which is typical. And Isabel called when she was getting ready to leave to head over. And so Monica starts into him, oh, so you just do everything like how she wants to do it, something like that. Or what kind of a life you gonna have? But he didn't go into a lot of detail. We want more detail, Gabe. And so she got mad. They had, a few words, and so now, like I say, he's getting a message that she's not coming to the wedding. Well, stay home then. So poor guy, he's just so down. And then they move focus over to Isabel, and she's wondering, where is Gabe? I mean, because, he's supposed to be showing up for a couple of things, and I think they need to sign a few things or whatever. And, the wedding's all, almost ready to go. So she finally leaves her home with a couple of, I guess, with her kids and stuff, and goes over to the venue, which looks like it's going to be a nice place to have the wedding. And it gets to be an hour and a half before, and he's still not there. And of course, she's upset. She's worried, She's says, geez, all he had to do was get up, take a shower, get dressed, and come over. What's going on? So then we finally, see her talking with her dad. Her dad is so sweet. He gives her the nicest pep talk, I'm just really pleased with how her parents have turned out to be towards Gabe, because, they could have been really bad, like we find out from another couple's mother and uncle. So last we see Gabe, his mom goes into the bedroom. She says, honey, we've got to get going. And they show him laying on the bed, face down. We don't see his face. And she keeps saying, Gabe, we need to get going. And he's not moving. Well, not that he's done something. I mean, I guess he must be crying or upset. He's laying on the bed. And it's to the point, I guess, where he doesn't want to go. And so that's where we last saw him. Then we move to, let's see, who would be guess next? Let's go to Jen. As you know, Jen's friends were there last week, and they purposefully let the cat out of the bag to Rishi's mother and uncle that he and Jen are engaged. And they are okay, even though they had an interpreter, it was like, okay, well, they didn't want to react or, until they get to talk with Rishi alone, which they did. And when they found out her age, they said, no, we will not support this wedding. No way. So Jen is walking around still very optimistic because to her, the conversation went fine, right? And so Rishi says he's going to come, he wants to come meet with Jen. So she has her friends go out, shopping, souvenir shopping or something. And he comes over. And you know what I noticed? The door, maybe some of you know, I'm just a real observationalist. They go to leave and they reach way up and they unlock a little lock thing over. Just one of those ones that goes like that, And they leave and Rishi comes in and they close it back. And it looks to me like they don't latch the doors. They're just closed. And so you have to have these various locks, which looks like there were maybe about 3 locks moving down the door. Just an observation. So anyway, he's still, hemming and hawing when he's talking to her. So she's still thinking, okay. But she says, it sounds like they're not going to approve you to not live with the family, in the family compound or whatever it is. And he says, well, no, we will still live. We can live real close to them. So he assures her they could still live close to him, still avoiding the main subject. Finally, he lets on that they're not happy with her age, and so they are not supporting the marriage. Well, why didn't you say that first? So, of course, Jen gets upset. She says, now this has been 3 years. You have had plenty of time to prepare for all this, to prepare them for the fact that, who I am, what I am, blah, 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 blah. And you stalled around and led me along, strung me along all this time. So he just said, well, he has to choose his family over Jen. Now, how many times had he told her in the past that he would pick her over his family, right? This man is a liar. He's a player, apparently. Though I think he really does love her. It's not enough to do what he needs to do. So, you see the look come over Jen's face like light bulb on. She says, I want you to stop wasting my time. And she took her engagement ring off, handed it to him. She says, I am done. And of course, he just thinks, oh, yeah, right. And he said, no, I am done, out of here. So he gets up to leave. He goes, well, can't I have just one more kiss? It's just a simple little... And he leaves, and it's like, you go, girl, finally. It still annoys me, though, the look she puts on her face when her eyes are up in her head. I mean, when she's upset, it's about something. So anyway, there was my number, the first, you go, girl. So that's the last we see of them in this episode. Then we'll move to Chris and Jamie. Now, Chris is back in town after 5 months, not 5. Didn't she leave to get her bank things straightened out and to get her prescription straightened out, and then we started seeing 3 months later when she's had to be working to send money to Jamie, and now she's back in the city, what is it, Columbia, right? And it's been 5 months because her son, I guess, needed her, which, okay, that makes sense, but he had a little brush with the law, it sounds like. So it's now been 5 months. So Jamie is pissed. So what I found interesting, though, is Jamie didn't even come meet her at the airport. We spend time in a taxi with her while they're driving from the airport to where the apartment is, and she's really nervous and wondering how it's going to be and blah, 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 right? So Jamie gets all fixed up. I thought Jamie looked kind of terrible, though, her face. It looks like she's really gotten longer, like her cheeks are sucked in more, but she looks like she's stressed. But she looked nice. She was all in this gorgeous little jumpsuit thing. Of course, she's got a gorgeous figure. So she meets her when they pull up to the apartment building. And they're all excited to see each other. But you can tell she's kind of, like Chris is waiting for, okay, when's it going to hit? When's she going to lash into me? So they go up to the apartment, and surprise, Jamie has gotten some ingredients for s'mores because apparently they talked about having s'mores back when they were together. S'mores just get to me. So they, spent the night together, had regular nights, sat by the fire. I guess they ate their s'mores. Apparently, though, they didn't have any intimate relationship yet. But I did notice when they're flashing by the fire in the back, there's like a bookcase, and I saw several bottles of booze. Now, Jamie was there by herself. Did she drink that booze herself? Anyway, I'm terrible at that. Don't say that. Chris missed Jamie's birthday again. Well, Jamie, little girl Jamie, is like, you missed my birthday again. So Chris set up this real nice place they went to, had to set up ahead of time with the owner, that they had it all decorated. There's a pool. It's got a beautiful cake in there for her. I guess I don't have a lot of sympathy for Jamie. A lot of people think, well, Chris should have been back, missing her birthday again. All this. Well, I'm the kind of person that my birthday is right at Christmas. So I never really had any birthday parties. It was never that big a deal because people were too busy with Christmas. So to me, it's like, okay, put your big girl pants on and grow up, Jamie. It's you're in your 20s, huh? So they go swimming and they're just so happy with each other. And then they finally are cutting open the cake. Oh, that cake looked good. Me being a sugaraholic, oh man. And that's when Jamie decides to start the conversation up about what's been bothering her. Okay, little girl. And her voice gets a little higher. And Chris is just looking at her like, what the heck, when she's accusing her of not caring for her, treating her like a wife. I mean, Chris has been sending money back and stuff, and finally, Chris says, lower your voice, which you kind of sound like a mother there, but, this just wasn't the place and time to do this. And twice she had to say, lower your voice, and that just got her going, Jamie more. So Chris gets up and leaves. I don't blame her. I mean, she just fixed this nice big birthday party for her. Granted, there were no other people there. It doesn't sound like Jamie has that many friends. I wonder why. It was like the look on Chris's face was, all that I've done for you, and you're going to sit here and brag on me right during this, But you know what? I know Chris's background. I guess she's had a couple of husbands maybe, but one of her husbands, I saw a picture of on a gossip thing, looks remarkably like Chris. I looked at him, oh my God. I was thinking, that looks just like Chris. And the news thing I was watching said, do you think he looks a lot like Chris? So it wasn't just me. And apparently he was really involved with drugs and stuff. So, Chris might have been involved too. Now, I'm saying allegedly, because I don't really know. So that's where we left them. Then we moved to my girl, Debbie. Well, when last seeing them, she and Osama, he just acted like a total ass to her. So she packed up her things, went back to the hotel. And she says, I'm not going to be treated that way. It's a totally different turnaround from how he was before, his plan A and stuff. So we see him talking with his sister. And of course, he's sounding so hurt and so nice. I think he's a little narcissistic. It's all Debbie's fault. And Debbie agrees to meet with him. So they meet outside like in a little cafe place, a little cup of coffee. And he's still, making it sound like, well, I love you. And, you just need to know when to say things and when to not. And it's like, I'm no dummy. I've been around the block a lot of times. She sees through him. Thank God. And so she lets him have it back. Say, hey, you did this, and this. I am not putting up with that. All I wanted to come here for was to be loved and have a nice life, here with you. And you're different. You're not the man I met. I am out of her here. So she says she's moving on, says goodbye to him. And the last we see her, she's packed up all of her luggage and she's on her way to the airport. And the guy gets out and unloads her stuff for her, and she's going in the airport. So it's like another you go girl. So proud of her. I like her. She's a good soul. It's a shame that people have to use people like that. Everybody wants love. Why do you have to misuse it by treating people like that, especially people, from other countries who just want to get over to America? You really want to come here now? So that was what we were showing. We were saved, though, the misery of seeing Nicole and Mahmoud. So we didn't have to see any of her crying, her same old thing, week after week, her clothes. She wants to go back home, blah, 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 blah. But we did see some previews, especially of the tell-all. So I'm trying to figure out, because I thought that Sunday night was supposed to be the last night, but yet we didn't have the wedding yet, and there's a couple of things I need to finish. So I don't know if they're going to do a part, the end of the season, and then start with the tell-all or what. But I can't wait. Excuse me. From what they show, the previews, we see Julian, who is Debbie's son, just really, ragging into Usama, about hurting somebody's mother like that, and we see Gabe lighting into Mahmoud about how he tried to control Nicole, and Mahmoud is just gonna lose it, just cussing every other word and getting them. And Nicole said, "No, honey, no, stop, honey." Oh my God, that brought up a bad memory to me when I was too stupid to learn. That's how my ex-mother-in-law would react to my ex-husband's temper tantrums that he would start having. And this before we were married. So why didn't I learn? Anyway, oh boy. And of course she's, right on cue, she's crying. So I am anxious. Just can't wait. It's going to be a good Mother's Day. So, that's awesome. So, what'd you think? Will Gabe still show up for the wedding? Will Monica show up? On the previews, we saw that it had been a week since Jen talked to Rishi, and he had been trying to contact her like nothing had happened, she says. So I think she was in a car. I think she might be on her way to the airport. Hope so. So what all's going to happen? Stay tuned, because I'm sure going to be there to talk about it. Please comment below, share, like, and subscribe. And I hope you're all having a terrific week. We may start summer here later in the week. Love you all. Bye.